when she won the Miss Black University of Texas beauty pageant. That's the good news. The bad news is her crowning glory triggered something unexpected. Hurtful Twitter comments taking aim at her skin tone for not being black enough. It's reignited a long simmering hot button issue. Nightline welcomes ABC's Adrienne Bankert.
College senior Rachel Mallinson is soaking up every last moment of her senior year at the University of Texas, Austin.
I'm so excited. I'm ready to graduate.
Testing number 5, Rachel.
Earlier this week, the 22-year-old was crowned Miss Black UT.
When they announced my name, the first thing I honestly thought was, wow.
But her celebration has been sidelined by controversy.
One moment, I'm on cloud 9. People agreed that I was worthy enough to win the title, and then the next minute, I'm not black enough and I don't deserve this.
Just hours after receiving the crown, a vocal group of people took to Twitter saying Rachel, who is biracial, should not have won because she isn't black enough.
One tweet says, she's clearly the lightest, damn near white-looking black woman, and she won over others. Quit playing dumb, guys. It looks sketchy.
One user writing, of course they choose the most light-skinned, least-looking black person there. Another saying, they should have pulled out the brown paper bag test. The pageant, in its 35th year, is hosted by the historically black fraternity Kappa Alpha Psi. Qualification for entry in the scholarship pageant being someone of African American heritage. The fraternity stands by Rachel, saying she is completely deserving of the crown.
I was raised by a mother who's white, who loves me so much, who has helped me become the confident woman I am. I was raised by a black dad who loves me so much, who has helped raise me. I mean, how could I not identify with both sides of them?
For people to say that she's not black enough is frankly ridiculous. Her father is African American. She is a biracial woman. So although you don't look at her and you don't first think that, is she black? You don't know what ethnicity she is. But if her father's black, she's black. I think that the issue with Rachel's win has been politicized, and Rachel represents an issue of colorism. It's not necessarily her personally, even though she's being personally attacked.
The issue of colorism is explored in depth in the new Netflix series, Dear White People.
What if I wanted to join them? Why do people always assume I'm not down? Dear half-white person, you're just not black enough for the union.
We spoke to the show's creator, Justin Simeon, about these complex issues.
I think having to prove your blackness is a universal thing amongst black people anyway.
Wake up to your white privilege, man.
I'm black.
You don't want to feel like you're participating in this system where the lighter you are, the better you are. Some people do want to participate in that system and want to take advantage of it. But it really does create this kind of identity crisis of the soul. And it's a tricky thing to navigate.
Biracial student Sam and her darker complexioned friend Coco are shown confronting their differing experiences as black women.
Imagine the reaction if your divisive revolutionary drivel were coming from the mouth of a real sister.
A real sister?
You get away with murder because you look more like them than I do. That's your light-skin privilege.
As a biracial woman, she sort of feels as if she's kind of caught between two worlds and feels as if she kind of has to double down on aspects of her blackness to sort of feel as if she belongs around, black people, frankly. And these are the kind of things that she sort of keeps in private, but they sort of come up in kind of dramatic ways in the series.
Y'all sound ridiculous, all right? I do not have a preference for light-skinned people, as
A recent episode of ABC's Blackish also explores the complexity of skin tone.
Ooh, I wouldn't know they were black. Gluten-free. Yeah. Ooh, that's milky right there.
Dre's co-workers accusing him of preferential casting.
He's got that beige ray.
I do not.
What is that?
It means he has a clear preference of light skin over dark skin. I've always seen it. And it's always hurt.
Growing up multi-ethnic, Rachel says her identity began being questioned from an early age.
I remember at 9 years old, people were like, are you Hispanic? Are you Hispanic? And they asked me that so much that I thought I was lying when I said, no, I'm black and white. That's how I identify. But today I realized that it's not this awful thing. I actually am blessed to be able to be an example that those stereotypes are not true. Black women, biracial women come in all different shades, different hair textures. We all identify, but we all look different. And I'm so thankful that I'm able to be a walking example.
She says at times it was hard to know where she fit in.
I wouldn't say that I've felt a certain privilege for for being white because I feel there comes a greater confusion for me.
We live in the society where the lighter you are, the more closer you are to the standards of beauty, you know, European standards of beauty, the better you are in society. So there's this resentment within the community of like, oh, you think you're too good. But the truth is these people are kind of caught in between a rock and a hard place. You're sort of like, you know, playing this line in the middle.
In Hollywood, there's been a demand for inclusion, many arguing light-skinned women continue to be shown as the beauty standard, from red carpets to magazine covers. Some publications have come under fire for allegedly lightening celebrities with darker skin tones, from Gabourey Sidibe to Lupita Nyong'o, something that media companies have denied.
Give me my money!
And on the big screen, the recent biopic Nina came under fire for casting lighter-skinned Zoe Saldana to play a darker-skinned Nina Simone.
Until quite recently, a woman who was of darker skin was relegated to a mammy role or a best friend role. She wasn't the center, she wasn't the love interest, and we're just now getting to the point where women like Lupita and Viola are getting center stage.
For Rachel, despite the controversy, she hopes she can be a role model to young women in every shade.
A lot of people who know me and those who don't even know me started having my back and really, truly supporting me and telling me that I deserve that title. It's turned into a beautiful thing that's reminded me that I have the ability to impact people in a positive way.
Brothers and sisters, what's going on? So you just saw that little clip right there of Miss USA, Texas, University of Texas, I believe. She was an attractive looking lady, right? Attractive looking woman, right? No, not really. Some people really don't know what to think about this, right? There was a lot of shit going through my mind when I seen this shit that I was like, wow. I wonder how people really feel about this shit, truthfully. But before I start with this, I want to send a special shout out to all the sisters and brothers that seen the little rant I went on and didn't get into their feelings. I'm pretty sure you seen the disclaimer and you know I was about to get into some shit. I don't normally go off like that on video. It's probably like the first or second time, but I appreciate the sisters that listen to me and then listen on how I was delivering the message. You are much appreciated for that. And you didn't get in your feelings and cry about the way I was talking. I appreciate you, see. I got it, I understand. And also the subs too. Thank you for subbing, old and new, for sticking with me. Now, what we just saw here, I did a video on this too about, like, I really broke it down, like, in details. I'm gonna put the link in the description box so you can check that out. But I'm just gonna comment strictly on this pageant. I'm not gonna throw out any type of anythings, cause you know how folks get on this month. But I was shocked when I seen this lady. I thought she was a Mexican woman. I thought she was Hispanic. The fact that we closely, as melanated people, gotta have people next to us at all times. We feel like we have to grab and have everybody with us because crackers say they gotta be in your ethnicity group, or because they're supposedly labeled us because the African gene is dominant. Look, if you're gonna keep going by that, I don't understand why we're crying about this issue. Now, if you're not going by that, I can see why you have a problem. Well, you know this is a biracial woman. Clearly this is a mixed woman, clearly. But you got some people that'll tell you, I don't matter. She's still black. She's still going to be a N-word in America. But, okay, that's cool. So, if we're going to keep living by that, right? Wherever you at. So, why are we getting mad about this shit? Because I came across this term, colorist or colorism, and it's a lot of different YouTubers that use that word, and I wasn't too familiar with the shit because, like, let me explain. I never really grew up with these problems of, oh, you too light, oh, you too dark. Look, man, when I was born, I was a chocolate boy, man. I was dark as can be when I was born, man. I'm talking about like Wesley, Nestle, Crunch, dark. But then I got older and I got a little lighter. Got brown. I turned brown. I'm not light skinned and I'm not dark skinned. So this is why I'm always so perplexed with the talk of color in the African American community, because if you look in the crown box right now, when you look at black, you notice that black is one color, simply just one color, just one. It doesn't get lighter, doesn't get darker, it just stays one color. Usually when the shade goes up, it's usually like brown, it turns into a whole different other color, right? So, and I discussed this a lot in that video too, that I got in the description box. I just had to put that out there. So when this situation come up with this woman who was mixed, to me, I'm always scratching my head, because you get a handful of Afro people saying, well, no, black come in all kinds of shades, and no, so I'm like, what the fuck do you want, dude? Like, what is it that you want? Do you want the light-skinned people on your team, or do you want to have your ethnicity to your ethnicity, or you welcome in every shade? Let me know, because I'm confused with the shit too. And then we get terms like light black. I don't know what the hell a light black is neither. Seeing that I just said that black only comes in one color, so what considers light black? Because I'm brown and I'm not chocolate at all. What is that? What is that? Is that light black? Or I'm trying to understand the logic. You see, in this pageant, I noticed a couple of things. They said you have to have some African in you. Okay. So it looks like she made barely the cut. She has little to any African in her, but we still say she's African American. We still say she's black. My thing with this, because I was on somebody else's shit and we were talking about basketball players. Well, they were talking about basketball players. So they was talking about Blake Griffin and this other light-skinned dude. And I'm like, but if they biracial, why can't they be on the white side of Duncan? You know what I'm saying? They only consider them black, when I'm like, damn, they look damn near white and they biracial. So why can't they be on the white side? So if you biracial, can you be in the white pageant too? Or is it just exclusively to the black pageant, because out there in America, they say you supposed to be black because whatever the fuck reason. Because you have a father that's of African descent, which is, I don't get it, or a mother of African descent. So if we're going to keep going by the father is the gene, we're going to lose. Well, we can win too. But this is another thing too. If we're going to keep sitting here and saying there are people, we got to stop getting mad at these things. Every person that's biracial or mixed with anything on YouTube or any in life, they're going to be accepted or not accepted. You have to make your fucking mind up with this shit. I'm tired of these people flip-flopping with this shit. 1 minute people biracial, then the next minute people don't know what the fuck they are. Make your fucking mind up, please. Excuse me for my language, make your mind up. Because it's getting exhausting, okay? I'm getting tired with the whole colorism thing. I never been quote-unquote colorist. I never did, never will, because I dated the spectrum and never cared about the color. But I'm a man, so I didn't have to deal with a lot of problems, a lot of sisters, a lot of sisters with the Afroid features who you could tell are black. I never had to deal with a lot of them. Have to deal with, so I'll never understand where they're truly coming from. And you can see it in the comments that I got up above or on the screen, excuse me. Some are positive, some are negative, as you saw. I think my people have a lot of healing and a lot of self-reflecting to do. I think we need to know what we are first before we can sit here and keep going on with this light shit and dark shit. Me personally, I don't have nothing against anybody. But if I know you mixed, then you mix. If I see you biracial to me. But I'm not gonna keep going on and on, and I'm not gonna tell anybody what they can identify with either. If you biracial in my eyes, but you look at yourself as a black man or a black woman, that's what you are. That's what you can be. I ain't nobody. I'm not. I'm not anybody. Shit, I'm not anybody, period. Shit. I'm shocked that people listening to me. I ain't shit. Like, for real, I'm nobody to tell anybody what to be. I just wish we could make up our damn mind. That's all I'm saying. It seems like some people are biracial, and then they not. Black come in all shades. It sure does. Yeah, I mean, I I was like, wow, who's this Hispanic woman though? Like, it's kind of like the what they're tweeting up here, whatever they're doing on the screen. I couldn't really come to grips with this because I was just like, what? How do you measure one's blackness? How do you become not black enough when black is clearly a shade? How so like just I'm just trying to understand where people are coming from. Just you hear that word black tossed around all the fucking time. Yeah, that's a color. Nobody's not breaking anything else down with this shit. They just keep saying black this, black that. Well, you can't measure my blackness. I'm not black enough for you. How the fuck do you become black enough? Motherfucker, you have the color that you have. That's your color. So I'm sitting here when I seen that old motherfucker say that shit, I was like, blackness. How do you measure one's blackness? Like, I would feel horrible if I was always getting challenged on what I was doing all the fucking time. I would feel bad. Like, especially like if let's say if I'm trying to help the melanated people out, but I keep getting, oh, you're not black enough. You're not black enough. What's blackness? What's black enough? Shit, I'm brown. My skin is literally like when you pick that crown box up and you look at the brown one, that's my skin right there. It's not quite black, but it ain't light either. I mean, unless that's light. So what's black enough? What's blackness? What the fuck is black? Explain to me what's black. Like literally we can't we don't have shit together to sit here and keep dictating all this shit. We don't know how to treat our brothers right. We don't know how to treat our women right. And yeah, we got nerve to sit here and keep fighting each other over a color. I mean, eventually, the whole construct of black is gonna be torn down. Eventually, we gonna tear this shit down because we clearly it's getting people in a lot of shit. Like you have like people that have like that Mariah Carey look that's saying they're black. Yeah, probably with little to any African gene in there, right? What's African then, right? If we gonna question every single thing that somebody does, I want to hear the reasonings for this. I want to hear a good reasoning behind this shit. We talk about race, but last time I checked, if you got 2 legs and shit, that's one race. I'm just put me on some gun. I read a lot, and race always comes up to human when I read the shit. That's all I'm trying to figure out. But yeah, that shit just, it got me. Blackness. How do you measure somebody's blackness? How do I know you are black enough? That's a good question. That's a real good question. Is there a way you can gauge it? I'm just asking, is there a way you can gauge it? All right, family. I love y'all. Be good. Be safe out there. All right, my family.